What is up, guys, and welcome to the very start of my Team Career Mode series. This is the journey where we go from nothing in Formula One. We create our own Formula One team, we create our own brand, we build our own facilities, hire a teammate, and we take this team to the very top in Formula One. At least that's the goal. So we're starting off with minimum budgets, minimum resources, and we're going to try and beat some of the best teams and drivers in the world of motorsport. If that sounds good to you guys, please hit the like button and also subscribe to see the entirety of this career mode journey. This could turn out to be 100 episodes long, depending on how long it takes for us to win the Drivers and the Constructors Championship on this year's game. But I'm also on a personal quest to hopefully get 700,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Every single subscriber counts, so if you do hit that subscribe button, thank you so much. You guys enable me to make these types of videos, and I wouldn't be where I am today without you. So thank you. Anyway, we're going to start a new career. You have the choice of doing a driver career where you fill the seat of another driver in the sport, or alternatively, you can start your own team, which we are doing. We're going to start at the newcomer entry point, which gives you no money, no acclaim, and, well, no resources, essentially. So we're going to do a full season to start off with. It's a 23 race calendar. In future seasons, we might do a custom season and add in some of the DLC tracks, which are rumored to be added into this year's game. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do some custom settings, adjust some of these sliders, if you will, because the game on its balanced setting is actually quite easy to beat the game, as we saw in an earlier video where I started off as a front runner and was able to develop the best car within a season. So what that means is we're going to have a resource rate that is low, and we're going to buff the AI to make their resource rate high. We're going to lower our cash rate that we earn, but increase the cash rate that the AI teams, like McLaren, Mercedes, all the other teams in Formula One, so they can earn money faster and upgrade their facilities faster. This is the best way to mitigate this series ending prematurely. So this is the ultimate challenge in Formula One. I might even lower the acclaim rate potentially as well. I'm not too sure if that makes too much of a difference, to be honest, but yeah, those are the settings we are going to run. We're going to have player faults on, so there are car retirements, and the frequency of the types that you can get are on the high level, so it can basically KO you with an engine failure if that is what we decide to put on. My team icons, we're going to have those on, so legends from the sport, your likes of Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, etc. They can be hired, but I'm not going to choose to hire those guys. I am going to start off with a Formula 2 driver. So this is the My Team landing page. We create our own driver profile. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Basically, choose an avatar, choose a name, choose the look of your driver's suit, choose your number, etc. So we're just going to skim over this. I'm from Australia. Hopefully you can tell by my accent. Although when I did go to America recently, a lot of people said I sounded British. Let me know what I actually sound like, because now I'm having an identity crisis. Anyway, audio name. My surname is Daly. I always try to find it with each new game, but it is not in this year.
Day.
We have to settle for Day, or alternatively run my first name, which is Benjamin. So I think we'll run with that for now until Crofty learns how to pronounce L's. Driver number is driver number 8, courtesy of Romain Grosjean, retiring from the sport recently. Thank you very much, mate, for giving me my favorite number. My second favorite number is probably number 3, but I'm in no rush to have that number as a selectable choice. Thank you very much. Now let's choose our helmets. When modding becomes more accessible in the game, I'm probably going to run my real-life helmet that I run in karting. But until then, I'm going to run one of these default settings. And there's actually not too much choice at the moment because this is an early version of the game, and not all of the customization options are actually available yet because the podium pass isn't available yet. This is still before the game was released. So when you actually pick up the game yourself, you'll have more options than what you can currently see in my game save at this stage. So bear in mind, everything that you're seeing right now, take it with a pinch of salt because things might change, whether that be the color scheme of my team or the actual design of the helmet, of the livery, of the car, of the driver's suit. Once I get the full selection of items I can choose from, then I'll make something more final. But for now, this is like an early phase of the season branding of the car, the helmet, the suit, everything basically. And I really struggled to find the right color scheme on this year's car. I wanted to go with something different. I normally run with purple and black, but this year I wanted to do something like gold and black, or white and gold. I think is a really nice color combination. But as you're seeing here, you can't really get the right gold that I'm looking for, the metallic depth that you get on a car paint job. You can't get that in the fabric, or at least in the color customizations here, which is a shame. They've added in different paint types like matte, satin, gloss, etc. for the actual car, but you can't do that for the helmet. You can't do that for any of the clothing, which is a shame, and I hope that they rectify that for next year's game. So fingers crossed, as my watch likes to interrupt. Let's move on.
Okay, boss, let's get this team up and running. The first thing we need to do is register a team name and bring in some important partners. First, enter a team name.
Anyway, paint options aside, we are going to run Marduk Motorsport as our team name. I'm thinking maybe for next game, we're going to run something different. So this might be the last time you see this team.
Now, let's choose a primary sponsor for this season. Some sponsors offer a larger sign-in bonus up front. Some offer more weekly income. The better we perform, the more our level will go up as the team gains more acclaim. Doing this will increase the income from our sponsors.
Now, because we've got our backs against the wall, I'm actually going to go really aggressive here and try and get the most money I can out of a sponsor. So I'm most likely going to go with Xenon and give us the best signing bonus amongst the best gold bonus and weekly income, so that we have more budget to play with when it comes to engine and also hiring our second driver, our teammate. This is what this budget allows us to do right off the start.
Our chassis won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit, so let's sign one of those now. Obviously, the greater the performance and durability, the better, but be careful about spending all our cash. We're going to have people and facilities to invest in as well. Power unit suppliers will also provide upgrades throughout the season free of charge.
Now, take all of these values you see here with a pinch of salt. Ferrari's durability, for example, is going to come down. And as we upgrade our own performance, our facilities, these numbers can change. So I'm actually going to go for a lowish cost powertrain, and I'm thinking Red Bull. They don't have the best durability, but they've got great performance, and we can always upgrade the durability later. So we're going to go with Red Bull, and that's going to give us more money to spend on our teammates, but also, crucially, our facilities.
We're not much of a team without a second driver. Let's sign a teammate. Here are the drivers interested in joining our team.
Oh, yes!
Look at their stats and pick someone you think can get us good results, as long as we can afford them. We renew contracts periodically, so you'll have plenty of chances to sign someone else should the need arise.
Yes! Oscar Piastri is there. Some of these teammate choices are random, and sometimes you might not get the driver that you want, but we've got him straight away, and I'm going to waste no time here. I'm Australian. It's an Australian team. Oscar Piastri is going in the second seat, and he might stay there for the entirety of this journey. I want to develop this guy into a world champion, so he's got our full backing. Can we actually go for a better power unit, though? Let's have a look.
Looks like we can't afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Let's go into one of those and sign someone cheaper, or try and find a sponsor who pays more up front to offset the cost.
Right, so no Ferrari. We can afford Mercedes, but that leaves us with no cash. So I'm going to go with Red Bull at the cost of less reliability. Fingers crossed, it's okay.
Let's create the livery we'll be running this season. We can add more sponsors to the car as we sign them throughout the year. And don't worry, we can edit our look at any time from HQ.
So yeah, we're going to chance it for now with Red Bull's Honda power unit. But, you know, we can always improve the reliability over time. Now, let's get into some of the more interesting stuff. We are now going to choose the color scheme of our car. Like I said earlier, we'll have more choice of designs when the full version of the game is out. And I'm already going to go ahead and pre-record some episodes, so the car, the team, etc. we'll probably have to wait until maybe Monaco time before it properly changes. So just, yeah, that's a little disclaimer for you guys. But right here, I went through a vast array of different liveries, also different color schemes. I really wanted to play around with the new paint styles that they've added in this year. Metallic, matte, satin, etc. You couldn't have those customization options in previous games, which is crazy to me now looking back. But now we're gonna really have a play around, and this is the gold that I'm after. Like it's a really, it's not yellow, it's not orange, it's gold, straight up gold. But I don't want the whole car to be gold. I just want little gold details, which I think will highlight the car nicely. But satin black looks incredible on a Formula 1 car. Satin purple also looks really good. Black and gold, classic kind of look. Throwback to the Lotus days. That's also a really good look. I also teased the idea of green and gold because that's also our nation's colors. At least when we're competing in football or any other sporting event. Green and gold, even though our flag is blue, white, and red. I'll never understand that. But anyway, this is more of the design I was actually going for. This is the one that we're going to run for the first few races of the season. It's actually going to be purple and gold. Taking inspiration from Lewis Hamilton's Abu Dhabi helmet from 2020. I think it's a stunning design, and that's kind of what we're running with here. But I was teasing the idea of white and gold. I think white and gold looks incredible with a satin finish on the body. It's not quite white. It's almost like an off-white kind of thing. Red looks really good, actually. But red doesn't really go with the color scheme we're after this year. Purple and gold does look very good. But what also looks really good is satin black and gold. Oh my goodness, satin black and gold looks incredible. But the worry was that the car wouldn't really stand out. There's a lot of black cars in Formula 1 at the moment, and I didn't want to blend in. I wanted to have a bit of color. I wanted our brand, our team to be instantly identifiable. So I think on the balance of things, I'm going to go with purple and gold for now, but I'm completely open to your guys' suggestions. I might leave a straw poll down in the description where I ask for either purple or gold, white and gold, or black and gold. I think those are the three options we've got to narrow it down to. So let me know, and I'll definitely take your votes into consideration. But that's not even how the car looks. It's going to change. Anyway, let's move on and talk to Will Buxton.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. We're here at the headquarters of Formula One's newest team for an exclusive first look at what they will be bringing to the sport. It's always an exciting moment to welcome a new team onto the grid. However, what makes this occasion a little more special is how strikingly different the cars are this year. Yep, the long-awaited new regulations are finally here, and with them, the start of the next era of Formula One. The 2022 season ushers in a change of direction to the regulations aimed at promoting closer racing, with new aero additions in the form of swooping front and rear wings, along with the new eye-catching 18-inch low-profile tyres that will push tyre technology to the limit. So then, the question remains as to whether this team can grasp the opportunity before them with both hands and lead the charge against the rest of the paddock. We'll find out soon enough, as the new season is just about to begin. But first, let's see the unveiling of the team's car and meet the owner of the brand new Formula One team. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
An Australian passport. That's about it, really. We're going to gloss over this interview with Will Buxton. Basically, in this sequence, you kind of big up certain areas of your departments. You give good team morale to certain departments. And also, the final question, I believe, bolsters your facilities. So, in the end, I think we did one for everything. And then we did the aero side to be spec 1 on the facilities.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
The interview with Will Buxton is nice, but I feel like from a video standpoint, it can grind it to a halt a little bit pace-wise. And this is going to be a long video anyway, so grab a snack, get ready, because we're only just getting started. We've just set up our own Formula 1 team. We got to change the paint job again, but I'll do that in the background. It'll be absolutely fine. We are assigning activities for our members of staff to utilize. We're going to put Oscar Piastri through a driver training camp. Or are we? No, I think we're going to go with perhaps a pre-advertisement campaign, which will bolster the team acclaim. So that's a little bit hard to ignore. No, we're doing the driver training in the end. Never mind. This happens a lot, actually. I end up going back on myself quite a bit. I'm going to be a great team leader this year, it seems. But, yeah, the thing we got to target most at the start is just getting the ball rolling. We've got to get upgrades on the car, which we have 1,000 resource points to do now, which is what we're going to tackle. Immediately, I want to add some downforce to this car. I really struggle with these 2022 cars because they have so much less downforce than the 2021 cars, and much less so being a backmarker car. So we really need to work on that. Well, every area of the car really is quite weak, so we've got to work on a lot of areas, but particularly the downforce, but also the weight, the chassis of the car is going to be the heavy focus, at least on the early stages of development. Now, how much does everything cost? Engine power is 500. We can get that on in time for the second race of the season, that being in Jeddah. I want to try and get something on in time for Bahrain. I want to bring at least a semi-competitive package to the table. Weight reduction is the most powerful upgrade you can do in the game because that makes the car lighter, makes it faster in a straight line through the corners. It makes the car better on its tires because there's less energy going through the tires being a lighter car. But a weight reduction upgrade doesn't do anything for us for the first race. What does do something for us is front downforce or downforce upgrades in general, because we've got Spec 1 facilities. The build time for any kind of downforce upgrade is a lot faster than any of the other departments because we've upgraded that. So that costs money. It takes time and effort to make the facilities better, and that's over time going to get better. So we've got a lot to do in this My Team journey. So buckle up because we've got so much to do if we are to be the best team in Formula 1. Anyway, we're chucking on some sponsors because, well, we want to have this car look like a F1 car, really. It looks a bit naked. It looks out of place without some sponsors. We only have one sponsor at this stage, so we're chucking the one sponsor we've got on everywhere. And now we're finally addressing the color scheme issues. There's purple and black. But like I said, I want purple and gold. Here's gold and black. Just running gold as the main body of the car. Oh, okay. We're going to go through all of the color options. Just to remind you guys once again, white and gold, black and gold, or purple and gold. Let me know down in the comments and also in the straw poll down below. I also changed the team logo as well because I wasn't quite happy with that. And now I think we are finally there. Driver's suit, everything is going back to black and purple. And hopefully we'll stop there. We'll stop talking about color schemes and we will get on with the actual racing. That is the look for the first few races of this season, or potentially the rest of the season, depending on how you guys vote. Now it's time to spend some money on the actual facilities. We have $2.45 million at this stage, which actually doesn't get us much in Formula 1. We're going to do a build time upgrade, and I believe it's going to be for the chassis side. The chassis is really important to me, making a good handling car. I think the weight redistribution upgrades, which I previously ignored in previous games, needs to be addressed quite early on because the chassis balance of this car, this is a bit of a spoiler, is a bit terrible. So we need to do a lot of work to the chassis, but also the aero to give us some more grip. So we did that upgrade that I just spoke about. This is perks for your actual driver. So we're going to do perks for basically everyone. Development feedback, power mapping, which gives us better engine wear over the course of the season, and social media team, which gives us better answer responses in interviews. Could be our saving bacon at some stage. But there's Oscar Piastri. 67 rated, 72 pace. Not horrible, but not great either. We need to train him, upgrade our personnel department, our simulator to boost his speed, and he'll actually get faster over time. So I'm looking forward to him being more of a threat as the team and the car gets faster as well. So it's going to be a dynamic that's going to change very quickly. I'm going to be a mentor to Oscar, me having all my F1 game experience, him being a rookie, and that dynamic is very much going to change as the team changes from midfield to front runner. So that's going to be really cool. But let's head into our first race weekend now at Bahrain.
Welcome to your workstation. Everything should be set up and ready to go. I'm Ben. Anything R&D, I'm the person to talk to. Oh, and it's tradition for the team to go out for a bite to eat at the end of the race weekend if you're interested. Do well, and it's all on me.
You mean it's on me? Because I actually pay the wages of you. But nice name. We've got too many Bens in the team. There's me, Ben, but also my face is in the game, and sometimes you'll see my face or my character actually working in the team. So too many cooks, I think, at this stage. How does the car stack up? Well, we are fourth worst team. Somehow we're ahead of McLaren, but McLaren didn't really start off the 2022 season that strongly. But I imagine that'll change very quickly over the course of the season. McLaren has so much history in the sport. They've got so much money and resources behind them that I don't imagine they'll be tied down for too long in this season of career mode. So let's do this. Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's see how the car handles.
Hey mate, this is Mark. Just wanted to say thanks for trusting me as your race engineer. I won't let you down. The car's ready to go, but it's brand new of course, so there may be a few issues here and there. We'll be keeping a close eye on all the data from here.
And that's a good point as well. We are a brand new team in this sport, running all new components, new engine for us, staff. Maybe they haven't worked for other Formula One teams. There will be issues. There will be reliability problems, teething issues potentially. And it's our job as a driver to iron those out over the course of this race weekend and just pray that nothing goes wrong in the crucial sessions that matter, quali or the race.
There'll be a lack of rubber out on track, so take it easy for the first couple of laps.
And there we go. We are heading out onto the circuit for the first time in a car that we made together. Let's see how it handles. And straight away, cold hard tires are diabolical on this game. One thing about F1 2022 you must know is that it's really easy to spin up the rear tires on no traction control. I'm running with no assists. I'm on a wheel, which does help, but man, the tires are a nightmare at the start. Once they're cold, you need to warm them up very quickly, and hards don't really warm up very quickly. They take about a lap to phase into their operating window. So for this first half a lap, while the track is really green, I'm green, the car is green, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. There was absolutely no grip in this thing. Driving a Mercedes, a Ferrari, a Red Bull in time trial or whatever is one thing, but then stepping back and into a really slow car is quite something else. It feels like I'm driving an F2 car, and especially when I'm used to F1 2021 fully upgraded cars, which are nearly 10 seconds a lot faster than this car that I'm running with right now. It's such a polarizing experience to what I was having even just a few days ago. So we've got a lot of learning to do, and we don't really have any good setups at the moment available on time trial. A lot of the F1 esports drivers are very tight-lipped on what setups are good. No one's setting time trial times with proper setups on, so we kind of have to learn as we go. I've picked up a few things from doing already the first few episodes of career mode, so at this stage I'm quite new and quite raw, but once we get a few episodes in, I think we'll start to understand what makes the car go fast, and it's all very exciting as we learn to do that. But anyway, this is our first practice program. This is the ERS management. You can see I'm down by 2.3 seconds on the target delta, and I wasn't driving horribly either. I think the practice program targets are just a little bit too hard for what is expected, so that might need adjusting. But that little graphic right there tells you where we were good on the ERS. Go away. And it was telling us where we were bad on the ERS. So on the straights, obviously, we use up a lot of ERS, so that's why it's in the red. But when you're on a different program, like a qualifying pace program, you'll also get really tangible data that says, you know, where you're fast and where you're slow. So that's actually quite handy. But first practice program in the books. We've been our teammate by 6/10, which is nice, but we were still miles down on the target. So if we actually passed the target there, we might have been in the top 3 positions in practice, potentially, which is pretty crazy to say. But FP2 in the evening, a lot more representative of the conditions that we're going to be running in qualifying and the race. And the pace was much nicer. We were actually able to pass the race program there. But I really had to push, and I really had to rinse the battery, actually, to meet the target time. So I was driving on my fingertips. I was really pushing the car like a qualifying style lap just to beat those. But in the end, that's the data we got from it. Lap times are a little bit all over the place for me, particularly that third lap, but the tyre wear was better than expected. So we might be able to get away with one less stop or using the 2 softer compounds, or either way, our tyre wear is better than expected, and that's a welcome sign to see in at least our first race, with no real upgrades applied to the car. We can apply tyre wear upgrades at some point, but the kind of things we want to upgrade straight away is just the raw pace of the car. So that's what we're going to be doing for now. And that right there shows us where we are slow. All the red bits is where we're losing time. And yeah, it's basically on the straights, would you believe? I'm running a low downforce setup. We're making up time on the approach to corners. So at least from my end, from my driving, there's nothing wrong I really did there. I just truly believe the target times set by Codemasters are just too high. I couldn't go any faster on the straights. I'm running a low downforce setup, and I was using my battery in hot lap mode as well, or high energy mode, I can't remember. So that was a little bit weird. I hope you're following along with what I'm saying there, but yeah, pace seems to be lacking, at least compared to the practice programs, but I'm beating my teammate on track in the timing sheet, so I'm not doing horribly. So with qualifying coming up, I'm not really too sure where I'm going to end up. I imagine that the AI are going to step up their game massively for this incoming qualifying session, but I've been beating my teammates so far, so on the grand scheme of things, I haven't been doing too bad. But practice 3, I dedicated to just letting the game finish off the practice programs I couldn't pass earlier on in the weekend. And those are the resource points we grabbed in. Now we can take a deep breather, compose ourselves, and get ready for our first qualifying session in our Formula 1 career. Can we beat Oscar Piastri, and can we beat some other teams? All right, here we go for our first qualifying session of the season. I guess the goal is really just to not be last and to beat our teammate. I don't really have high expectations for our first race. We're still getting to grips with this car and the setups. We're not going to be bringing our A game, so just try and learn as much as we can, as quickly as we can. The setups are going to be crucial this year because I have a feeling they're a lot different, at least in the way that you achieve lap time. The aero is definitely different. Previously, it was 1 to 11 in terms of the choices. Now it's between 1 and 50, and they've done away with the pre-assigned base aero packages. So basically, 6.6 wings of Monaco wasn't the same as 6.6 at Monza. 6.6 at Monaco would have been like 46, and Monza would have been 6. So now you can truly run different aero packages for each race, and you have to kind of assign that manually. So playing around with the aero is going to be very crucial. And I think being Bahrain, being a power circuit, I think running low aero is the way to go. I think from memory we're running like 11.21 or something in that realm. Definitely low downforce package, but it's definitely going to come at a cost of actual cornering speed, which I think we really need. We're lacking a lot of downforce, but we need to be fast in a straight line to actually make overtakes and defend from quicker cars behind us. So it really is a compromise, and I'm hoping that the compromise we have come to is a winning one. And we haven't ventured too far away from the default setups, because whenever I do try and experiment with setups, it doesn't really go too well in this game, at least in time trials. So I expect my pace to improve drastically as my understanding improves throughout this first season. Anyway, first lap in the books. It's got us in P9, but there's a lot of drivers who haven't done a proper run. I feel like a lot of drivers have made a mistake because some of their sectors are pretty average, to be honest. This is a much better lap from us, a 1 minute 30.0. And unfortunately, I think with the timing, we are going to run out of time to get back out there again and set one final lap unless the team can get me in and out very quickly. But unfortunately, I actually sustained some floor damage in one of my qualifying lap attempts. I think I ran over a curb, and that was enough to sideline us for the rest of the session.
We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car. And
yeah, that was pretty passive damage. That happens very easily, and that was the end of our session. Unfortunately, literally everyone improved right at the death of the session, and we went from P9, P10 to P22 and last for this Bahrain Grand Prix. So the one thing that I didn't want in my first qualifying session was to be beaten by my teammate and to be last. Well, both of those things have happened. What a great start to my Formula One career. I thought I was going to be the mentor to Oscar Piastri, but straight away, he is taking me to school. This can't stand for the race. Our race pace is always stronger. I didn't get a representative lap in there. A 30.0 was good, but I could still go faster. Let's head to our first race.
Okay, tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Russell, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Magnussen, and Mick Schumacher, Gasly, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Tsunoda, Joe, Vettel, and Alex Albon, Ricciardo, Stroll, Latifi, and Benjamin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
I don't know if you missed that, but Crofty has had a habit of missing Oscar Piastri's name whenever he reads it out. I want to make a compilation where I showcase Crofty ignoring Piastri. But anyway, that guy's good looking. Let's head to our first race, shall we? Where we are starting from dead last place. Can we get in the points in our very first race?
We can do a lot better than this. Come on.
Good. Very good. I miss Jeff. Bring Jeff back. Who hired this clown? The slander has begun. But welcome, guys, to our very first race for Marduk Motorsport P22 on the grid. The only way is up. So strategy-wise, it looks like it's going to be a one-stop medium to hards. Bahrain tyre wear are usually pretty high, so I don't imagine we could get away with using the 2 softer compounds. Plus, we don't have any tyre wear upgrades, and the tyre wear on this game in general seems to be higher than F1 2021. So I think we're going to see some strategies this season, at least in Season 1. Don't know if anyone's going to do 2 stops now with the tyre rule not being a thing. It looks like everyone is starting on the medium compound tyre, so it's going to be quite straightforward for a lot of people up and down the grid. But here we go. We are getting ready for our first race. I believe I've underfueled the car, not to the point where we're in the negative, but I've definitely taken some out to make sure we're lighter than those around us, and we'll maybe do some fuel saving to get to the end. We'll have to wait and see.
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice starts. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want you to bog down.
And yeah, for this season, we're going to be running with formation laps, at least for the start. I might switch to the replay camera stuff.
Negative. Stay out. This is the formation lap. We cannot work on the car. There's no reason to come in. Do not box. Negative box.
I mean the broadcast formation lap. But for the time being, I quite enjoy actually manually driving it for now and actually parking in your grid slot. So let's hope we get the parking right and get our first start successfully in the books. Lovely stuff. Okay, we're in the perfect position to start this race, and let's get this season of career mode underway. 5 red lights, and we are underway for our first season of My Team career mode. Looks like a pretty good start. No, it's not a pretty good start. Getting absolutely left for dead as we head into turn 1. Can we dive bomb a few people heading into this first corner? Latifi looking for the inside. Spooked me a little bit. We get up the inside of Stroll and the Alfa Romeo Guan Yu Zhou, or Zhou Guan Yu, as he's now known as. It is P17 for us. 5 spots gained off the start. Got past both the Aston Martins and Daniel Ricciardo as well. So it's been a pretty good start. Can we go to the inside? Yes, we can. Bit of front wing damage. Oh, nearly damage for us as we run into the side of Zhou Guan Yu there. And I think we are okay for the time being. Remembering we're on simulation damage, so even the slightest touch like that can give us front wing damage. However, the damage model is a little more forgiving this year with the way the front wings are built. So I think we got away with that one. So go around the outside of Zhou Guan Yu. And it's going to work, I think, just about. We're forced onto the curb there. There's nowhere else really for us to go. Delayed getting on the power nice and early. And now...
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And now it's a drag race down to this left-hander. I think we are going to win out over Guan Yu there. And we are into P16. Now we can settle into this race, I hope, as it looks like he's shaping a move up the inside into the penultimate corner, but that's only a one-line corner unless you're already alongside, which Guan Yu was not. Sonoda pulling into the pit lane. Looks like he's got front wing damage. I did see a bit of carbon fiber go scattering off earlier on in the lap, so that probably explains that one. But it's been a good start. We got past our teammate who, didn't get off to the best of starts. I think he got monstered a little bit by people around him. Daniel Ricciardo being one of them, fellow Australian, a lot of experience. How many seasons now? 10 plus seasons for Daniel Ricciardo. That experience is going to count in these dogfights in the midfield and the lower midfield, which that McLaren finds itself in at the moment. But yeah, early doors, we're racing cars which are faster than us. The Alfa Romeos, the Alpines, Alfa Tauris of the world. But we're managing to stay with these guys. We're actually breaking away from that bottom end pack, which includes my teammate. I'm clinging onto the DRS of these guys who are battling up the road, and that's Gasly losing his wing on Albon, I believe, on the run into turn 1, and that's going to force an unscheduled pit stop for the AlphaTauri driver, and it's potentially going to slow him down, but it's not slowing him down whatsoever. He's going up the inside of Albon into turn 4, even with the damage. So it just shows that even if you get front wing damage in this game, it's not all over in terms of actually having pace. But now it's going to be the true test as we run through the middle sector where downforce is king. Gasly having to stop in behind Albon for the time being. Ocon is next to us. Realistically, there's no point in us fighting these guys. They have better pace. Gasly, I will try and overtake if I get the chance because I don't want to lose DRS to this next group of cars. Gasly makes that actually very easy for us and puts us up in a P14. Are we going to go for a move on Ocon? He's going very defensive into turn 1. We're going to switch to the racing line once again and have the inside for the next left-hander, which we do. P13. Thank you very much. Hopefully we can cling onto the DRS of the driver ahead as we see a replay of the move on Ocon. And this is move of the race so far. That was pretty brave from me there. I switched to the left-hand side of the track with the DRS still open. That could have actually flung me into the barrier. That was a little bit reckless on my part, but technically this is my first race in F1 as well, and clearly I've got no fear at this stage. Albon next, 1.1 seconds is the gap. I'm going to have to deplete my battery really to catch up to him, and that's exactly what I've done in this second half of the lap. We are on the back of the Williams once again, who is actually, the Williams is slower than us, so we're actually able to make up the difference and get back in the DRS, but we used all of our battery to do so. Carlos Sainz made an early pit stop, if you look at the mini-map, so he's demoted down to last. But yeah, we're going to use the DRS as a free helping hand for us now. We're not going to use overtake. We're not going to try and overtake Albon. We're actually going to use his pace and free DRS as a means to bolster our own pace, to keep our straight line speed stronger on the straights while we charge up our battery. That's what I'm doing at this stage. Is this yellow flag. One of the Mercedes is going slow. Oh, it's Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And, well, it's a good sign. It's a good reason I didn't go for a Mercedes power unit, because that could have easily happened to me. Good job. Good job, Red Bull, for building a sound power unit. We are going to crack on with this race. And now Albon is in P10.
Okay, one stop to go. Just one stop left in this strategy. You've got 4 laps until your pit window opens.
4 laps till the pit window opens. But this battle now between ourselves and Albon has just meant so much more now that it's actually for World Championship points. So we are definitely playing for keeps in our very first Grand Prix. Marduk Motorsport could have some points if things go our way. So we need to play this carefully, because there's a lot of fast drivers behind us who will jump at the chance to overtake us the first chance they get. Ocon's in a fast car. He's in the Alpine, and we've seen what Alonso can do in that car this very season, front row of the grid at Canada. So that's a team and a combination that, you know, can't be scoffed at, as we see Albon shaping a move into the pit lane. He's going for the undercut onto the hard compound tyres, I imagine, to get himself to the end of the Grand Prix. Now, because the tyres work a little bit differently this year, I don't think there's tyre blankets, potentially, that are in effect in the game. So when you come out of the pits on new tyres, they're actually quite cold, so overcuts can actually be a thing on this game, and that's what we're going to try and do. We are going to box at the end of this lap. We're making the most of this free air. We're using the rest of our battery that we have left. 42% on the left rear tyre. Into the pit lane we go. Not really struggling for tyre temps. It's not a thermal degradation circuit. It is just a regular old tyre wear kind of circuit. Now it's time for our pit stop. Manual pit stop. I always get these wrong, and it continues again. I don't know if I'm not turning enough. I'm turning at the right time when it says to, but maybe it's not registering a turn until I go to like 90 degrees steering lock, if that makes... If anyone knows, I'd love to know, because I can't get that right. Still haven't got a perfect pit stop. As you can see, we rejoin on the circuit. Cold, hard compound tyres, and Albon is nowhere to be seen. He's actually lost so much ground to us on his outlap, bringing his hard compound tyres up to temperature, so much so he's lost 3 positions. So I told you guys the overcut is a thing. But now we're going to be the ones who suffer, and it's Albon who's going to fight his way back through on warm tyres. So watch this. This is a crazy dynamic at play, as Albon gets 2 positions straight away, and now he's on the back of me again. So the cold tyre dynamic is a fascinating one, and it's only starting to warm up now for our rear tyres. The front tyres are still cold, so you can see the understeer visually as we head into the middle sector. Now they're starting to get into the green range, but Albon's on the back of us. He's got DRS. He flies past. We don't even fight that, because I don't have the tyres to battle down into here as I nearly run to the back of Albon. Tyres still cold, not an optimal performance, and I'm suffering more than what the AI are with this, as I need to get used to this as I unintentionally squeeze out Stroll. I just had no front grip to make that corner, which is an easy corner when your tyres are warm, but not so much so there. So yeah, Albon goes from losing 3 positions to gaining them all back, and all because he was used to those tyres and they were fully ready to go for that lap for him, which is, yeah, very interesting. But here's Guan Yu Zhou. He's on fresh hard compound tyres and he's raring to go as he goes up the inside into turn 4. And this is dissuading me from staying with Albon, unfortunately. Ocon has done the overcut on everyone. He went from behind me to now in front of myself and Albon. So he's suffering. He's a little bit slow on this lap. He did 2 laps extra compared to Albon and 1 lap extra compared to me. And look at that. He's now in P10 and he sniped all of us. So Albon, I hope he's got the pace, because at this stage, I don't have the pace to reel in an Alpine. Our chances of getting points now are potentially out the window if Albon can't stay with this guy. If he loses DRS to Ocon, it's game over. So I've got to be really careful here. I can't battle Albon because it'll allow Ocon to get away. I don't know why, but Albon and Ocon is just a real tongue twister for me. It still gets me all these years later. As you can see, Guan Yu Zhou up the inside into turn 4 once again. He as well is not giving up in this race. Ricciardo is in P14 behind as well, so I mean, it's going to be near on impossible to get points at this rate. There are a lot of fast drivers around us, and we've definitely got our backs to the wall here with our lack of car pace. We've now fallen outside of 1 second, and Guan Yu Zhou is on the hunt again around the outside into turn 4. We just about hold on to that one for now, but it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets us if this keeps up. We're out of DRS range. I need to get my head down, use up my battery to get back within 1 second, but Albon is losing touch to Ocon as well, so it's all falling apart in this Bahrain Grand Prix. We're going to have to hope for another retirement or 2 to bring us back within hopes of getting some points here, because Ocon is now gone. He's 1.3 seconds clear, or 1.2 seconds clear of Albon. And, well, I think at this point I need to have a crack at Albon because he just doesn't have the pace. It's clear to run with Ocon, so we're just going to have to send it maybe on the next lap if we can get a clear run. I mean, this time around, Guan Yu hasn't actually had a go at us in a turn 4, so now we can focus on getting some momentum back in this little battle. It's been really tricky up until this point. The hard compound tyre maybe hasn't worked as well on this car, but we're starting to get a feel for it now. Temps and pressures are normalizing. I'm adjusting to the grip levels now, and let's go. Let's see what we can do in this back end of the race. Tyre wear shouldn't really be an issue. We've got younger tyres than those around us, or the same age, so that shouldn't really be a concern. We can lean on them a little bit more. But now we're going for the move. This is Albon going defensive into turn 1. That Williams is very fast in a straight line. It's taking DRS and quite a bit of battery to even draw alongside into turn 1. We get the inside for the next left-hander. That seems to be our signature move today. That puts us up into P11. Now we got the DRS again for this next straight. But even so, with DRS, Albon is on us in the turn 4. Having to run slightly compromised in order to keep him behind. But we have got the job done. 3/10 up on our Delta. We're going to try and push for a fastest lap here if we can, or a personal best. As Guan Yu Zhou on the attack. Ricciardo wavered with the double dirty air, and Guan Yu has the massive lock-up into turn 7 or 8, I think it is, and clatters into the side of Albon. He might have given him damage there, but it's all to play for those guys behind. They are like vultures looking for the first opportunity to gain something in this race, and I need to make sure I'm just away from that battle. They're squabbling a lot. 3 seconds is the gap from us to them. Yellow flag in the middle sector. That looks like one of the AlphaTauris. It is Pierre Gasly, whose race goes from bad to worse there with that mistake, and that's unforced error, just riding over the curb. Normally, that's a player-related problem. You never really see AI make mistakes on curbs, but that's a new one, and it's refreshing to see that the AI, or, well, our competitors, are human too, in a weird way. Anyway, back to this race, and there's a yellow flag on the start-finish straight. That's my teammate! Oscar Piastri, in his first race in Formula 1, is out with an engine failure. I was slating Mercedes earlier, and it's the Red Bull Honda power unit which has given up the ghost in this race as well. Nothing like a bit of karma, hey? To bring you back down to earth. 5 laps to go as well. Oh, that would have been so handy for just knowledge for Oscar to get a full race under his belt, to get an understanding of the car and how it all works. And, well, that's an uncharacteristic mistake from George Russell there at the hairpin, absolutely teasing me about getting some points. Once I arrive on the scene, he is nowhere to be seen. So, yep, that's unfortunately not going to be a points finish for us today, unless something drastic again happens. They'll need to lose a lot of time if there's a big old mistake. Unfortunately, there's no barriers that are close to the circuit, apart from that one on the right-hand side, which Grosjean unfortunately went through a couple of years ago. And nearly speaking of going through each other, that was Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu. Guanyu Zhou's having quite the race today. He's getting really stuck into this in his first race as well in an Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, my engineer is a psychic. Listen to this.
That's Albon behind you. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 13 laps old. We think they've got one more stop.
So I asked about Albon, who was behind me, and he knew pre-Albon's stop that he needed to make another stop. With 2 laps to go, how does anyone know that? But Mark Priestley knows. F1 Elvis. 5 seconds later.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
5 seconds later, Albon was into the pit lane. So, yeah, he is a wizard confirmed. Last lap of the Grand Prix now, and it's P11 for us. 7 seconds to Ocon. I've been backing up the last few laps, saving my tyres, saving my battery for a last lap effort if I needed to use it. I'm not under pressure.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on! That's exactly how we should start the season. Come on!
Lovely stuff there from Charles Leclerc getting the first win of the season. As I was saying, I was under no pressure from cars behind me, so I'm just backing off the last few laps. And now on this last lap here, I'm just using all the performance that the car has left to go for a... Well, let's be honest, it's not going to be a fastest lap, but it is going to be a personal best. And you never know, that might impress some people up and down the paddock. Might help me in my rivalry, which is non-existent at this stage. But hey, it looks good on the timesheets if you get a nice, juicy, personal best fastest lap at the end. So that's exactly what we're playing for here. Up by 2.5 tenths. Tyre wear, not too bad, at least on the hard compound tyre. I mean, you can see that I've still got pace to burn. Pace to burn is a stretch. But I still had pace in the car at the end here. I wasn't, struggling to get to the end of the Grand Prix. The guys behind squabbled too hard. They either got damaged or they just lost too much time in squabbling. But for us, it's going to be P11. So close, yet so far from points in our opening race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's a fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the desert. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Yep, GG's from the Ferrari boys, at least on Leclerc's side of the garage. Sainz not having a good one. I think he ended up the back end of the top 10 or just outside of it. With that early pit stop, he had a lot to do. But up front, their pace was scintillating. We don't have front-running pace. That's obvious, isn't it? It's our first race with a brand new team, brand new car, new teammates, and the pace, I think, I felt like it was solid. I was able to keep those cars behind me and actually stretch away from them once they started battling. But once you look at the personal bests for everyone, we actually had the slowest car. The people behind me were faster on their fastest lap. And even the people way behind me still had a better, fastest lap, if that makes sense. So myself and Oscar had the slowest, fastest laps. So that says right there, we've got a lot to work on with this car. I don't think this is a track that's well suited to us. We were losing a lot in a straight line. That much was evident even in the practice programs. We were losing out. So we need to work on the engine power. We need to work on the drag of this car. I think this is quite a draggy car. But first and foremost, I want to make this a nice handling car, because if I don't have confidence in the car, I can't push it through the corners, and we're slow everywhere, which is what we were today. We were lucky to hold on to the DRS of those faster than us around us, which dragged us further away from our teammate. It's a classic old career mode strat, but it's worked, and it gave me a lofty position of P11, which is certainly better than I was expecting in my first race. So there we go, guys. That has been the first episode of career mode for F1 22. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. That would really help me out. I'm on a mission to hopefully get 700,000 subscribers this year, this month if I'm lucky. So every single subscriber counts, and I'd be absolutely thrilled if you guys joined me on this journey to make Marduk Motorsport the best team in Formula 1. But boy, do we have a road to go. We are the slowest car. We've done a McLaren today. Got a lofty result, which was nice, and it looks good for the results, but realistically, when you break it all down, we have the slowest car. So much work to do for Jeddah, for a circuit that I personally don't know very well. I think it's going to be very tough to fight for points there. But this is all a learning experience. This is the start of our journey. We've got to make the car faster, and that's what we're going to do in the next episode. So join me for that one. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I'm going to be doing daily episodes of this career mode series. Well, for as long as I can, at least definitely for the first season. So expect regular content, as well as other content on the new Formula 1 game. I'll be doing some online videos, ranked videos. I'm going to be starting a co-op season with Alex Gillen once again, so that's going to be really cool. But I'll talk about that stuff closer to the time. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you next time.